Good morning and happy Monday. Sorry I'm a little bit late. We had to get tea out of the house this morning. You know, Marley needs a bath. So how you doing on Monday? We finished, tea finished. I watched a little bit. Keith Cunningham's 4-day MBA. It was amazing. You know, you've heard me say that the first time I went to a big deal law seminar was down in Atlanta, and it was a trucking seminar, and one of the top trial lawyers in the country got up, and it was one of the last seminars that he did before he sailed off into the sunset. And I give him all the credit in the world. He he passed on his knowledge before he took off, and he said the difference between a good lawyer and a great lawyer is a great lawyer gets out of town. The great lawyer gets out of town, meaning goes to seminars and learns what other people are doing. You know, if you want to be successful at anything, you've got to commit to lifelong learning. The people that are super successful, they never stop educating themselves. And the first money that they invest on themselves. Grant Cardone talks about how the first 100,000 or 200,000 that you make that you've saved up should be an investment in yourself. It should be seminars, it should be education, it should be health. You know, it should be those things to get you at your peak level so that you can go forward and then do everything else. When I, after my, financial collapse 11 years ago, that was what I did. Is my first investments were in myself. And as you know from following this, it was all Tony Robbins stuff. I did Date with Destiny. I did all of his Master University, and then I ended up in his leadership program. And I certainly think, all of that was worth 1,000 times what I paid for it. But whatever it is that you're doing, it's an intellectual sport. Business is an intellectual sport. Taking care of yourself in finances, money is an intellectual sport. There's the science of achievement and there's the art of fulfillment. And the science of achievement means that whatever it is you want, if you want your health to be a certain way, if you want your finances to be a certain way, if you want your business to be a certain way, there's a science to achieving those outcomes. And there's no sense in reinventing the wheel. Go get educated by the people who have done it. And it doesn't change all that much. It changes a little. The language changes a little. Some of the approaches change a little when you get to the finer aspects of it. Like business 30 years ago wasn't going to be talking about search engine optimization. But whether or not you do that and how you do that and all that stuff, that's a small part of your business. It's a necessary part of your business, but the basics of business is still the same. The basics of health are still the same. We might, there was a period of time where everybody was eating pasta and everybody would, then it's all of a sudden everybody should eat. Okay, so the method might change a little bit, but the fundamentals of health are still basically the same. You've got to maintain a certain level of weight, which means you take in less calories than you burn. You've got to exercise in a certain way. You've got to pay attention to certain stuff. Now they've developed finer distinctions, but the fundamentals are still the same in how you get there. So whatever it is that you want to do, you've got to pay the price to do it. You've got to decide that you're going to take the steps in order to get those things accomplished. If you want to be financially independent, there's a path to do that. If you want to be in very good health long into your life, there's a path to do that. If you want to run a business and have that business be successful, then there's a path to do that. So as you start your Monday, think about what are the outcomes that you're looking for. And then think about what's the price you got to pay for those outcomes. Every outcome requires a certain cost. There's a certain level of discipline that is necessary. There's a certain level of time. There's a certain level of effort. There's a certain level of sacrifice. You got to do what you got to do so that you can go do what you want to do. So as we start our Monday, and you've already organized your Monday, I hope, or you organized your week, here's the outcomes for this week, and here's how I'm going to do them, and I've scheduled them. Then you've got to commit that you're going to pay that price. You are going to be more than willing to take the short-term effort in order to get that long-term gain. If I want to be the great lawyer, which means I got to go out of town, that takes effort, that takes money, that takes time, that takes organization. But while I'm there, I'm accelerating myself in terms of my ability to do that particular profession because I've immersed myself in knowledge with regards to that, and I'm going to come out and be able to perform a ton better. For the past 4 days, Tanya has been sitting in front of a screen from 8 o'clock until 7 o'clock at night, learning from one of the greatest business coaches to ever live, and his last time that he's doing the 4-day MBA. That took some money, that took some effort, that took some time. But as a result of that, greater distinctions are going to be made, and now we're going to be able to take our businesses and do different things. So this week, what are the things that you're going to do? What are the outcomes that you're going to have? Schedule them, and then make a decision that you're willing to take the sacrifice. You're willing to pay the price necessary in order to achieve those outcomes, because focus on where you're going to be 1, 3, 5, 10 years from now as a result of taking those choices. You know, one of the things that Keith said at the end, he had a huge financial crisis in his life 25 years ago, and he spent 1.5 years rebuilding himself before he started to get back into business. And a big part of that, he went on a religious journey. He went to various different religious retreats, and a Hindu master came up to him and said the following: hell on earth would be to meet at the end of your life the person that you could have become. Hell on earth would be to meet at the end of your life the person that you could have become. And Keith said that stuck with him like nobody's business. And he's thought about that his entire life. And now as he's kind of reaching the end of his journey, he's almost 80 years old, and he's going to quit doing these teachings. He's still going to do some other stuff, and he's writing another book. But he says, I've tried very, very hard for the last 25 years to make sure that I've become the man that I could have always become, so that I have no regrets at the end. So think about that as you approach your day and as you approach your week. Hell on earth is to meet the person you could have been. Instead, we want to end our journey and be able to look back and say, I did it all. I became the person that I could have. I exceeded all of the expectations. I fulfilled every dream that I had, or at least I tried, and I have no regrets as I'm on that rocking chair at the end of my journey. Have a great day, everybody. Thank you very much for watching. We're all in this together. Let's take care of each other.